Welcome everyone to a kind of a special startup of a series, and this is going to be talking about tech and you know things about tech and what's happening basically in the tech world. I just tried to stream this yesterday. It didn't work out because it was too laggy, so I'm just going to be recording this and then uploading it to YouTube. So yeah, let's get started with the first news, and this was about the OnePlus Nord. Okay, so we all know about the OnePlus Nord, how that is going to be coming out on, what is it, like July 21st, July 21st. So on July 21st, the OnePlus Nord is going to be announced. But what was been shown up on Geekbench recently was that there was the OnePlus Nord with the Snapdragon 690, which is weird because everyone's been saying the Snapdragon 765, as many people have been saying. The test results, ballpark, we're expecting from the Snapdragon 765G chipset that's been officially confirmed to be used in the Nord. But it's weird because it says now there's another announced OnePlus phone going to be going by the model BE2028, and that shows a lot of different numbers. So this, I believe, is supposed to be basically the OnePlus Nord Lite. Now, in my opinion, that's actually a kind of good idea. Now, because even though the OnePlus Nord does have a pretty low price tag, this is starting to become into budget, supposed to be coming into the budget category with the Snapdragon 690. And then the Snapdragon 765G is for more people who are looking for a mid-range phone. So, in my opinion, if this is priced around maybe 200, I think that would be pretty good. Now, I'm not sure. I believe this is going to have 90 hertz display because OnePlus did say that all their displays are going to be high refresh rates. Now, the RAM is supposed to be 6 gigabytes of RAM, and I believe the higher end one with the Snapdragon 765G, which is supposed to be the regular Nord, can have up to 12 gigabytes of RAM, which is actually insane. And should have some actually really good scores um, for that. Yeah, that's actually pretty interesting. What their plan is for this. It really depends. It's interesting because now I think that the OnePlus Nord is going to be a little bit more expensive, and that's why they're making the OnePlus Nord Lite. Because the OnePlus Nord Lite would fit into the budget category, but that would mean if the OnePlus Nord is like $500 or 499 or something like that, then that wouldn't be suitable for people who are looking for like a budget or even some mid-range device. So they would need to put it OnePlus Nord Lite. That's just my view because that just makes sense. It wouldn't make sense if the OnePlus Nord was like 350 or 349 or whatever, and then the OnePlus Nord Lite would be like 200. That's not that big of a difference, and so I think most people would just go with the OnePlus Nord because it's like it's only like couple, it's like $100 more, but that's like not too much of a difference in price. So what my speculation is that the OnePlus Nord might be 400 or 450 or something like that, or even 499, which would be pretty bad. I mean, I wouldn't then buy the OnePlus Nord if it was 499 or even 450. I would consider if it was like 399. I would actually definitely consider if it was 399, but 450 is just too much. So, yeah. Um, so yeah, we'll see what happens with this. Yeah, here's what the GSM Arena said. We'll know more in just 10 days, that's for sure, because it's actually, the release date is coming in 10 days, so pretty exciting. Now, I have another thing. Um, the OnePlus Nord got some leaked images. So, once again, we all know that the OnePlus Nord is coming on July 21st, but we got like a full on little preview of what the OnePlus Nord is actually going to look like, what the display is going to be. So here's what we're expecting. We're expecting a dual camera setup on the back, on the front, and one is going to be an ultra wide angle lens, and one's going to be a wide angle lens. Now, in my opinion, I never really use if ultra wide on like front cameras because I've tried out some. They're not really that useful. Ultra wide angle on the front. On the back, they're pretty useful. I use that all the time. But on the front, I don't know if that's really like. It looks really, really good. The OnePlus Nord looks like a really great phone. It's just that I don't really like the dual punch display because that means it seems like it's more like better than the OnePlus 8 because in some ways the OnePlus Nord has like more features, but that's what they're going for. And then also OnePlus Nord on their Instagram put a little bit of a meme right here. LCD displays are more affordable, AMOLED all the way. So they're basically saying that AMOLED is going to be on the OnePlus Nord. And as you can see, another thing is a promo page on Amazon India said basically all the specifications. A 90 hertz panel, like we were expecting. They're saying a flagship camera. I don't know if it's going to have a flagship camera, to be honest. I'm not really expecting an actual really good camera. It says that we're going to have a 48 megapixel main camera, 8 megapixel ultra wide, which is great, but then they have a 5 megapixel macro and a 2 megapixel depth. Like, please, okay, I just need to say something to basically all companies. Please do not put a macro camera on your phone. Please, because no one uses a macro camera. Okay, like for some things, yes, macro camera, but the OnePlus 7T Pro and the OnePlus 7T did not have a macro camera, but it still had a super macro mode. So you could add like a little macro mode option in your camera settings, but please just don't put a macro camera on, OnePlus Nord, but they're going to do it anyway. But it does seem like this 48 megapixel main camera, in my opinion, might be the IMX586 sensor, which is actually what's on my OnePlus 7 Pro. That's what I'm expecting just because it's the same megapixel count, and I don't think they're going to put the 686 because the 686 would be just too expensive, but that would be really great if it had the 686, but that wouldn't really make any sense. But it does come with optical image stabilization, so pretty great there. Yeah, that is the OnePlus Nord. And then also, one more thing with OnePlus. This is the OnePlus Buds. Now, if you didn't know, I have the OnePlus Buds Wireless Z right here. And I got it for $50. Great. Amazing, in my opinion. Now, the OnePlus Buds should be the wireless version of the OnePlus Buds Wireless Z. Now, I'm expecting it to be much more pricey, maybe like, not much more, but pretty pricey, considering, OnePlus and their budget mind, maybe $150. That just is my expectation, or, what is going to happen, but it could be cheaper, and that would be pretty great. So, yeah. Now let's get out of OnePlus finally, and go to this phone. This is the Doogee X95, and this is actually really interesting because now I didn't talk about this ever, and I was going to actually make a video on it, and this is the Doogee X95. So this is supposed to be like one of the most cheapest phones that you can get. Now, this post was made in April, but I really wanted to check it out, and I was going to make a video, never got to it, but I decided to, just put it in here. And the Doogee X95, I just want to show you some pictures right here. Here it is. As you can see, pretty bezel-less, and as you can see, it does have a water drop notch and some pretty thin bezels. Now, I'm not sure if that's the actual bezels or that's just in pictures, And as you can see, there's triple camera setup, which I will talk about later. There's some more things about the phone. Now let's talk about some of the specifications. Or actually, no, let's talk about the price. So the price of this is $60. So that is your price range. So usually what you would find for, $60 would be something like a, I don't know what it is for $60. Like some sort of cheap Nokia phone, maybe like the Nokia 1 or something like that, but that's like not that good. But this is really great, and here I'll tell you why. Um, so this comes with a 6.52 HD plus LCD touchscreen display. That's already actually pretty impressive. If you remember, actually, you know what? This is a great comparison. The Xcode 19 Pro that I reviewed. I actually probably will put that in a link in the description below. But the Xcode 90 or the Xcode 90 Pro, I think that's what it's called, was $60. So I got that for, actually it might have been like 56, but it was pretty cheap. It was pretty close to this. So that came with a 480p screen, but this comes with a HD plus screen, which basically, if you don't know what HD plus means, is that it is 720p or maybe even a little bit more. I'm not that great on what display, like what HD plus actually means, because I don't know what the difference is between HD and HD plus. But it does have really, really good brightness. It has 600 nits of brightness. Now that is actually comparable. I'm not saying this as good, but it is comparable to my OnePlus 7 Pro. Not really to the iPhone 10, but close, actually, kinda. The iPhone 10, I believe, can get up to like 900 or 1,000 or something like that. Here's an example. The iPhone 7 can get up to like 625. This is twice the price usually. If you wanted to buy one used on eBay, it would be twice the price. So, and on this, you can actually get up to like 800 nits or 750, but still pretty close. So let's talk about the cameras, and I actually think they made some okay decisions. Now they're gonna do a main 13 megapixel main camera. Now that's fine, and it's gonna have a 2 megapixel depth sensor for portrait shots. That's actually not a bad idea for some budget, really really tight budget. You know, but then they add a 2 megapixel telephoto camera with 2 times zoom. Now, 2 megapixels isn't that great, but I mean, at least they're giving you a telephoto camera. That's actually pretty impressive for $60. What is it? Yeah, $60. And 2 times zoom. And so you do have a 5 megapixel camera on the back. I mean, on the front. I don't think that's going to be that great. And one more thing, or a couple more things. It runs stock Android 10 out of the box. Now, I believe this is Android Go, Android, I think. Yeah, okay, so let me see if it actually tells you anything. No, it doesn't tell me anything, but it says, yeah, 5 megapixel camera, but it's going to be pretty bad. And it's powered by the MT6737 chipset. And you get 2 gigabytes RAM and 32 gigabytes expandable storage. Now, that's the reason why I think it's on Android 10 Go. On Android 10, it would just not be able to just work at all. So I'm pretty sure this is Android 10 Go. One more thing, 32 gigabytes of storage is actually not that bad. Like, they say that's pretty bad, but it is understandable. But it is actually pretty impressive. A lot of budget phones around this price range usually have either 8 or 16 gigabytes of storage, so 32 gigabytes of storage is pretty good. So, pretty impressive here. And you also get a 4,350 milliamp hour battery with 10-watt wire charging. This basically is pretty impressive. That's all I have to say for for $59. Really, really impressive. Good job to Doogee. So what else? Right. So I wanted to talk lastly, or actually, there's actually one more thing. I wanted to talk lastly about the OnePlus 8 now. Uh, the OnePlus 8 is not selling well at Verizon at all. Selling good at T-Mobile, and that makes sense because they've been partners for a very long time. But Verizon, they're kind of new with the OnePlus kind of thing. And so, yeah, Verizon launched the OnePlus 8 in April, and no one's really buying it. There hasn't been stocking of the phone, and so it probably makes sense because it is $799 for the OnePlus 8, which isn't a great price, and most people would go with something else because there are much better deals than that. You know, that's just my opinion. But yeah, that was just some short news, and then I have one last thing, and that is one of the biggest news today. I don't know if it is the biggest news, but it is the TikTok ban, and it's pretty interesting. Like, oh wait, no, that's not it. Ah, here you go. So here's everything we need to know about this. So I'll just give you a little bit of a background here. TikTok, I guess, is TikTok has some sort of problem with China, or the Chinese government basically has like control of the app, and so people are kind of worried about it now. India was especially worried about it, and they banned it first, but the U.S. was planning to also, and that is because they're concerned with the Chinese getting all the U.S. users' data, and so it's a good point, and I think it's pretty interesting to talk about, especially if I hate TikTok. Honestly, TikTok's the worst, but a lot of people like TikTok. And another thing is that Instagram, which I mostly use, is making this new thing called Reels. So that's supposed to be kind of a competitor to TikTok if it gets banned. And so that's what most people are going to go to. Now, this is actually pretty similar. I mean, it's not. This also happened to Huawei. I mean, except this is completely different because this is a software thing, and this is and Huawei is a hardware thing. But they've been banning a lot of things from China, or a lot of hardware and software. And actually, it really sucked when I heard that Huawei was um, going to be banned from the U.S. because actually was considering the P30 Pro instead of my OnePlus 7 Pro. Now, obviously, I love the OnePlus 7 Pro, but it's great for consumers because you get to consider one more huge brand, and so that's great because you have more options, you have more choice. So if you wanted to switch from a OnePlus 7 Pro, it's like, I'm done with this, and say, oh, I'm going to switch to Huawei. Well, it kind of sucks now because it's really difficult for a US person from the US to even consider Huawei because there's no Google Play. And so it's just pretty annoying. And that's just like um, one less person, you know, that, one less brand, that, doesn't, you can't choose from because, actually, I think a similar thing happened to ZTE. When was that? Was that like 2016, 2017? I don't actually remember, but I do remember uh, reading something about ZTE getting banned, and then they came back, and then they didn't do good. Yeah, they weren't good after, because they had a bad reputation. So this could happen to Huawei, but Huawei's a much bigger company, so they have something in mind, and so yeah, that's basically all I wanted to really talk about today. Now, tell me in the comments. First of all, are you excited about the OnePlus Nord Lite and the OnePlus Nord? What are you excited for more? Are you gonna buy the OnePlus Nord or the OnePlus Nord Lite? And one more thing. 95%, just a fun fact here, 95% of you are not subscribed. The 95% of you guys watching right now are not subscribed to this YouTube channel. I just want to kind of tell you how easy it is. So you go to one of my videos. This could even be this video. There's a watermark at the very bottom. Now, if you're on phone, just scroll down, click the subscribe button. But if you are on computer, then you could just hover over the watermark, and then click the subscribe button. That's all. Takes about 5 seconds of your time. If if you're on PC, and then if you're on mobile, maybe it'll take like 7 seconds. So really consider subscribing. But my videos have been doing well now. So thank you so much for that. And I really want to get to 1,000 subscribers by the end of this year. But we'll see. So if you guys really like this kind of podcaster, I don't exactly, it's kind of like just talking about, the latest news. Consider, leaving a like, telling me what you think of it, and yeah, I'll see you guys. If this does do well, then I'll do this like every week. I could do this like once every week, if you guys really like it. So see you guys later. Sorry about the for the failed stream, and yeah, let's end the stream right here. See ya.